Standard 6, Subject English, Unit 3.3, Stone Soup. The Stone Soup is a European folk story in which a hungry stranger convinces the people of a village to share a small amount of their food in order to make a meal that everyone enjoys. The story gives us an important message of sharing. Here in your text, this story, Stone Soup, is in the form of a play. Let us read and understand the play Stone Soup. A village, a few small cottages standing close by. They belong to Motiram, Sonabai, Hirabai, and Rupabai. It's evening. They are chatting outside Motiram's house. Motiram, your farm produce was really good this year, I'm told. Sonabai, so was yours, I hear. Motiram, I don't want to advertise it though. It might attract guests. Traveler enters from a corner. The villagers don't see him. Hirabai, you are right. Guests can be a nuisance. Sonabai, I agree, especially uninvited guests. Motiram, uninvited guests are best. Traveler becomes nervous, doesn't come forward. Hirabai, true. I never waste good food and money on others. Rupabai, do you think that it is right? How can we refuse them? Hirabai, just find some polite excuses. That's all. Sonabai, you are right. I can always cook up some excuse. Motiram, me too. For me, charity begins at home and stays at home. Anyway, I must attend to my work now. See you. All neighbors, see you later. They enter their homes. Traveler comes forward. Traveler, what hard luck. I'm a poor footsore traveler and I am so hungry. But this bunch of villagers look tough. I don't think they'll offer me food or rest. But let me try. Here in this paragraph, we come to know that in a village, a few small cottages standing close by. They belong to Motiram, Sonabai, Hirabai, and Rupabai. It's evening and they are chatting outside Motiram's house. Chatting is they are talking or conversing outside Motiram's house. Motiram tells Sonabai that her farm produce was really good that year. Sonabai replies saying that even his farm produce was good. Then Motiram tells Sonabai that he doesn't like to advertise it as it might attract guests. The guests could be robbers or some uninvited people. Suddenly, a traveler enters from a corner. The villagers don't see him. Hirabai, Sonabai, and Motiram are still conversing. Hirabai says that guests can be a nuisance. Sonabai agrees to her, saying especially uninvited guests. Motiram also agrees to what they said, saying that uninvited guests are real pests. The traveler becomes nervous listening to their conversation and doesn't come forward. Meanwhile, Hirabai, Rupabai, Sonabai, Motiram are all conversing. They are chatting. Hirabai says that she never likes to waste good food and money on others. Rupabai then tells her whether it was right to refuse food and money to others who are in need. Hirabai replies that she must just find some polite excuses and that it is okay to refuse food and money to others. Sonabai replies that she could always cook up some excuse. She could always refuse any guest, uninvited guests or travelers. Motiram replies, for him, charity begins at home and stays at home. He only believes in doing charity at home, not helping others. So for him, charity begins at home and stays at home. Then he takes their leave as he had to attend to his work. All the neighbors enter their homes and the traveler comes forward. The traveler says to himself that he has really some bad luck. He's a poor footsore traveler and is so hungry. But these villagers looked up and he realized that they wouldn't offer him any food or rest. But still, he did not want to give up. He said that he would try. He knocks on Motiram's door. Motiram opens the door. Motiram: Yes, who are you and what do you want? Traveler: I'm a traveler. I am very hungry and tired. Can I please have some food and a place to rest for the night? Motiram: Dinner is over. There is nothing left. Try elsewhere. Shuts the door with a bang. Traveler: How rude. Hmm. Let me try the next door. Here we come to know that the traveler knocks on Motiram's door. Motiram opens it and he asks the traveler who he was and what did he want. The traveler replies that he was a traveler and was very hungry and tired, and whether Motiram could offer him some food and a place to rest for the night. Motiram replies angrily, saying that dinner was over and that there was nothing left. The traveler could try somewhere else. The traveler felt that it was very rude on the part of Motiram and he decides to try the next door. Knocks on Sonabai's door. She comes out. Good evening, kind lady. I am a traveler. Can I have some food and a corner to rest for tonight? Sonabai, putting a hand behind her ear. What did you say? Traveler, aloud. Can I have some food? Sonabai, wood? Why, there is plenty in the forest. Find a fallen tree and chop all the wood that you need. Traveler, I said food. I'm hungry. Sonabai, you agree? Fine. Then go and chop the wood. Goes back into the house. Traveler, well, that was a clever excuse. She pretended to be hard of hearing. Let me try elsewhere. Here we come to know that the traveler knocks on Sonabai's door. She comes out. He wishes her good evening and asks her whether she could offer him some food and a corner to rest for that night. Sonabai put her hand behind the ear, pretending to be hard of hearing, and she tells the traveler, what did he say? The traveler replied aloud, saying that he wanted some food. Sonabai pretended to be deaf and replied, wood. And she tells the traveler that there is plenty in the forest. He can go and find a fallen tree and chop all the wood that he needs. The traveler then replied, saying that he wanted some food and he is very hungry. Sonabai was pretending to be hard of hearing and she says that he can go and chop the wood in the forest. The traveler realized that Sonabai was making a clever excuse and she pretended to be hard of hearing. He then decides to try elsewhere, to try some other house. Knocks on Hirabai's door. Anyone at home? Any food for a hungry traveler? Hirabai comes out. Good evening, ma'am. I wonder if I could get something to eat and a place to rest for the night. Hirabai pretending not to understand his language. Og, Yava, On, Duf, Na, On, Sir, Rof, Enoi, Na, Ere. Traveler. I don't understand you. Hirabai shaking her hand. Dug, I ought ton no, oi ought og erevels. Goes back inside, leaving the traveler bewildered. Traveler. So that was her trick. Talking gibberish. I am not defeated. Here in this paragraph, we come to know that the traveler knocks on Hirabai's door and inquires whether there was anyone at home and any food for a hungry traveler. Hirabai comes out. The traveler wishes her good evening and he wonders if he could get something to eat and a place to rest for the night. Hirabai pretended not to understand the traveler's language and she starts speaking gibberish. This is what she spoke. Og, Yava, on, Duf, Na, on, Sir, Rof, Noi, Na, Ere. So this was, she was talking gibberish. The traveler tells Hirabai that he doesn't understand her. He doesn't understand what she says. Hirabai then shakes her hand and again starts speaking gibberish. She says, Dogai or Ton no. So all this that she spoke was gibberish and she goes back inside her house, leaving the traveler bewildered, confused or puzzled. The traveler then tells himself that this was probably a trick that Hirabai was playing. She was talking gibberish so that the traveler leaves and Hirabai doesn't have to give him anything to eat. The traveler then tells himself that he is not going to be defeated. Knocks on Rupabai's door. She comes out. Rupabai. Yes. Who are you, young man? I have not seen you around. Traveler. I am a traveler, and I wondered if I could get some food as well as a corner to rest for this night. Rupabai thinks, alas, my larder is empty. I am so hungry myself, but I have nothing left in the house. Traveler, I am sorry to hear that. Rupabai, I am sorry too, but I can't help it. Sorry. Turns to leave. Traveler aloud. Wait, madam, if you are also hungry, I can make us both some soup. Rupabai. But I told you my larder's empty. I can't offer you anything. Traveler. All I need is a cooking pot, a spoon, and some water. I have a magic stone in my bag. When you boil it in water, it makes a delicious, nourishing soup. Rupabai. Really? A magic stone? And all you need is a pot of water? I think I can manage that much. Traveler. Yes, just a pot of water. Only a big one. Here in this paragraph, we come to know that the traveler knocks on Rupabai's door. She comes out. Rupabai questions the traveler as to who he was and that she had not seen him around. The traveler tells Rupabai that he was a traveler and he wondered whether he could get some food as well as a corner to rest for that night. Rupabai tells the traveler that her larder is empty. The meaning of larder is a cupboard to store food. And she tells the traveler that her larder is empty and she too was hungry herself and has nothing left in the house. The traveler tells Rupabai that he was sorry to hear that. Rupabai tells the traveler that she too is very sorry and can't help him. The traveler then calls out to Rupabai and tells her that if she too is hungry, he can make them some soup. Rupabai tells the traveler that she already told him that her larder is empty. She can't offer him anything. The traveler then tells Rupabai that all he needs is a cooking pot, a spoon, and some water. He has a magic stone in his bag. When you boil that stone in water, it makes a delicious, nourishing soup. When Rupabai hears that the traveler has a magic stone which makes delicious soup and all he requires is a pot of water, she tells the traveler that she could manage to give him so. The traveler then tells Rupabai that he just requires a pot of water, a pot which is quite big. Rupabai goes back to her cottage. Traveler collects wood and makes a fire in one corner. Other neighbors peep out from their doors, windows and watch quietly but curiously. Rupabai comes out with a very big pot. Rupabai: here's your pot of water. Traveler: thank you. Now just wait and watch. Puts the pot on the fire, takes out a stone from his pocket and drops it in the pot. Rupabai: a magic stone that makes soup? I can hardly believe this. Sits down to watch. Traveler sniffing and pretending to enjoy the aroma. Ah, lovely. It's going to be really delicious. To Rupabai: if only we had one or two potatoes to add. It tastes heavenly with potatoes. But alas, we don't have any. Rupabai: Mmm, one or two, you said. Let me see if I have just one or two left somewhere. Brings a few peeled potatoes. Here. Luckily, I had just a few left. I've even peeled them for you. Traveler: wonderful. Puts the potatoes in the pot, stirs for some time, and sniffs again. What with the potatoes you have given, the soup will now be terrific. Sniffs. Carrots and tomatoes would give it a tempting color, wouldn't they? But that would be too much to hope for. Rupabai: I don't know. Here in this paragraph, we come to know that Rupabai goes back to her cottage. The traveler collects some wood and makes a fire in one corner. The other neighbors peep out from their doors and windows and watch quietly but curiously. Rupabai comes out with a very big pot of water and she gives it to the traveler. The traveler thanks her and tells her to just wait and watch. He puts the pot on the fire, takes out a stone from his pocket and drops it in the pot. Rupabai exclaims that she could hardly believe that a magic stone could make soup. And she sits down to watch the traveler make the soup with the magic stone. The traveler then begins sniffing and pretends to enjoy the aroma of the soup and tells Rupabai that the soup is really going to be delicious. If only he had one or two potatoes to add to it. He tells Rupabai that the soup would taste heavenly if potatoes are added to it, but alas, they didn't have any. Then Rupabai tells the traveler that she would go and see if she just has one or two left somewhere in the house. She comes back to the traveler with a few peeled potatoes and tells the traveler that he is quite lucky that she had a few left. The traveler was quite happy and he tells Rupabai that it was really wonderful that she has brought some peeled potatoes. He puts the potatoes in the pot and begins stirring the soup and starts sniffing again. He tells Rupabai that with the potatoes that she has given him, the soup would be terrific. He then tells her that carrots and tomatoes would make the soup even more delicious and it would get a tempting color. But that would be too much to hope for. And Rupabai replied to him that she doesn't know whether she could give him some carrots or tomatoes. Sonabai comes out with some tomatoes. Sonabai, hello, hello. Maybe I can be of some help. I had reserved these tomatoes for tomorrow, but I'm always willing to help. You know, and I know, that Hirabai has plenty of carrots, but I'm not sure if she'll share a few with us. Hirabai enters with a few carrots. I don't have plenty. In fact, I too was reserving these for tomorrow. But never mind. If Sonabai can spare her tomatoes, I too can spare these. After all, you don't get to see a magic stone making a magic soup every day. Here in this paragraph, we come to know that Sonabai comes out of her house with some tomatoes and tells the traveler and Rupabai that she could be of some help. She had reserved those tomatoes for the next day, but she was always willing to help. She further tells the traveler and Rupabai that Hirabai has plenty of carrots, but she is not sure whether she would share with them. Hirabai then enters with a few carrots and tells the traveler and all those who are present that she doesn't have plenty of carrots. In fact, she too was reserving those carrots for the next day. But she did not mind. If Sonabai could spare her tomatoes, she too could spare those carrots. After all, they wouldn't get to see a magic stone making a magic soup every day. Traveler bows to the women. I'm really speechless, you noble ladies. This is going to be a famous soup. Adds the vegetables, stirs and sniffs. It reminds me of the soup I had made some time ago. I had added just a few beans, onions, and I think a little piece of ginger. And what flavor it had! Those are the only little things missing now. But what we have is also good enough. You can't always have the best. Enters Motiram. Motiram. Why not? If you can have the best, why miss the golden chance? Here, take these. When help is needed, old Motiram doesn't lag behind. Offers vegetables. Traveler bows. How can I ever forget your generosity? Adds all the vegetables, stirs and sniffs. Ah, absolutely mouth-watering. What flavor! What aroma! What taste! Takes a sip. Marvelous. If only I could add a pinch of salt, it would be perfect. Rupabai. I'll get some salt and bowls for all of us. Traveler. Thank you. I was about to suggest that. Exits Rupabai. You are all being so kind and helpful. It's an unforgettable experience. Here in this paragraph, we come to know that the traveler bows to the women and calls them noble ladies, and he tells them that he is really speechless. He has no words to express their generosity, and he tells them that the soup is really going to be quite famous. He further says that it reminds him of the soup that he had made some time ago. He had just added a few beans, onions, and a little piece of ginger, and the soup had a lovely flavor. Those were the only little things that were missing now. But what he has is good enough. He tells the ladies that you can't always have the best. Then Motiram enters and Motiram tells them that If you can have the best, why miss the golden chance? And he tells the traveler and the ladies that whatever was required, the beans and the onions and that little ginger, all the remaining things, Motiram brings those things. And he tells the women and the traveler that when help is needed, Motiram doesn't lag behind. He then offers those vegetables to the traveler. The traveler bows to him and tells him that he would never ever forget their generosity. He adds the vegetables, stirs and sniffs, and exclaims that the soup is absolutely mouth watering. It has a wonderful flavor, wonderful aroma, and wonderful taste. If only he could add a pinch of salt to it, the soup would be perfect. Rupabai tells the traveler that she would get some salt and bowls for all of them. The traveler thanked her and says that he was about to suggest the same. Rupabai makes an exit, and the traveler tells them that they have been so kind and helpful. It is truly an unforgettable experience. Rupabai returns with the salt, pepper, and bowls. Traveler adds the salt, stirs, and serves the soup to everyone. Rupabai, ah, wonderful! You can taste the goodness of fresh vegetables. Sonabai, yes, unbelievable. No one would think that this soup was made with a stone. Motiram, you have said it. Such delicious vegetable soup and made with a stone. Hirabai, I wonder what happens to the stone. Does it melt away? Traveler, oh no, it remains the same. Takes out the stone from the pot. Take a look. This was the stone that made the soup. Aside to the audience. Have you guessed the secret of the stone soup? Smiles. You can make it even without the stone. Curtain closes as everyone enjoys the soup. Here in this paragraph, we come to know that Rupabai returns with the salt, pepper, and bowls. The traveler adds the salt, stirs, and serves the soup to everyone. Rupabai exclaims that the soup was really wonderful. One could taste the goodness of fresh vegetables. Sonabai also exclaims that no one would ever think that the soup was made with a stone. Motiram replied that the soup was really delicious. It was a delicious vegetable soup, and that too made with a stone. Hirabai wondered what happened to the stone. Did the stone melt away? The traveler replied, saying that no, the stone remained the same, and he asked her to take a look at the stone. That was the same stone that made the soup. Since this is a play, the traveler addresses the audience. He comes forward to the audience and smiles at them and asks them whether they have guessed the secret of the stone soup. He tells the audience that the soup could be made even without the stone. He smiles at the audience. The curtain then closes and everyone enjoys the soup. Let us discuss the questions and answers. Where does the story take place? The story takes place in a village. How do the following avoid giving anything to the traveler? Motiram. Motiram avoids giving anything to the traveler in a very direct and rude way. He just tells him that dinner is over and nothing is left. He tells the traveler to try elsewhere and bangs the door shut. Sonabai. Sonabai pretends to be hard of hearing. She pretends to hear the word wood instead of food. Hirabai. Hirabai pretends not to understand the traveler's language. Rupabai. Rupabai says that her larder is empty and that she herself is hungry. Apart from the stone, how many things go into the soup? Apart from the stone, the following things go into the soup: peeled potatoes, tomatoes, carrots, beans, onions, ginger, salt, and pepper. Does the traveler really have a magic stone? No, the traveler does not have a magic stone. The magic is the feeling of wanting to share in the hearts of the people. Homework to be done. Find what Hirabai tells the traveler by reading her words. We know that Hirabai speaks gibberish, so find what Hirabai tells the traveler by reading her words. List the characters in the play and write one or two lines about each. Write the meanings of all the difficult words from the lesson Stone Soup. What would you do if a traveler comes to you and asks for food?